Yo, yo, you already know. It's your boy Big Trail, repping Hot 92.5 The Heat, the hottest station in the nation. And today, we're going to dive into the community, man, because that's what it's all about. If you're not part of your community, if you're not active in your community, then I don't know what it is what you're doing. And what better guest than to have an expertise at community when it comes to community safety than the director herself, Miss Latisha McNeil.
Yes.
That's it. That's what you're going to give us?
Yeah, round of applause.
Yeah, just a little round of applause. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we're going to jump straight into it because that's how we do it with Hot 92.5 The Heat. Now, I got to give it to you, my sister. You're a very distinguished young lady.
Yeah.
You wear many hats. When it comes to titles, you have several.
I do.
So we're going to speak on that in a moment, but just to let the people know about being the director of the Community Safety Department, just shed a little bit of insight on exactly what that role is all about.
Yeah, so the Community Safety Department, we became official as a department January 2025. But we started from 2019. I came in as the criminal justice administrator for the city, doing civilian oversight. And we've grown from there. Like, we've grown into multiple programs that each address different community-driven responses to public safety needs, putting the community first.
Okay, and that's what it's all about, man. I commend you because, you know, I know heavy is the head that wears the crown, and my sister, you guys are out here in the streets getting it in, as they say, y'all outside.
We are, and the head gets heavy, but we're going to keep going. So.
I know that's right. It doesn't stop there. Now, I noticed working alongside of you, having the privilege, for those that don't know, you know, again, Hot 92.5 The Heat, this is Big Trail. I'm also the president of GSO Peace Corp, which is the enrichment center located right here in the self-help building of 122 North Elm Street. Just a little shameless plug.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right on. But having the privilege to be alongside of you for this past year and a half is, and I'm from Greensboro, and I had an idea of what community involvement was about and engagement, but working alongside you opened my eyes up to the realness. You know, everything ain't glitz, everything ain't glamorous. It's a lot of darkness that comes along with being out here, being an advocate for your community. If you could touch on a little bit, what made you want to jump into this line of work? Because I see from your history, your background, you've always had like a kind of a thing being in with communities from being, let me get this right. I want to make sure I get it right, from being CPO, which we're going to touch into. So can you tell them exactly what that acronym is for, the CPO?
Certified Oversight Professional. So I'm certified in civilian law enforcement, working with auditing and oversight.
So that right there, so coming up as a kid, like, is this something that was always in you? What drove you in the direction to want to, pursue this career?
So, I have a interesting family dynamic in terms of like background. My parents are both in law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
And worked in the corrections, Guilford County Sheriff's Department. And my mom worked for juvenile detention. And I, just coming up, just seeing them do the work in community, one of the things that always struck me is, everywhere we went, people were always so nice to like my dad, right? We'd be out at dinner, somebody come up and speak to him, hey, how you doing? They would always, I'm doing good. That was so like that was like that. That's how we knew how he knew the person, because they were like, I'm doing good. But he would always talk about the importance of treating people like you want to be treated. If you ever find yourself in a situation, like that, like you ain't gonna look down on nobody. You don't want to, mistreat them. Treat them like they want to be treated, or like you want to be treated. And so from that, I knew I wanted to do something where I was helping the community, but I also knew that, the importance of that government plays in people's lives. Like, we can't all say we don't want to, we can't rock with the government or whatever. We can't all turn our backs, because there need to be people who are like social change agents within government, being that person that's able to uplift the voices that aren't in the room.
Right.
And so that was something that has always been important to me throughout my entire career. I worked at the Juvenile Detention Center, and I was a juvenile probation officer, a court counselor, and I ran drug courts. And so I always was very focused on the individual and their story, and knowing that how somebody shows up, in a situation doesn't dictate their entire life, and it's not all of who they are. So it's important for us to make sure we make space for the whole person and understand how people get in the situations they get into.
Right, and that's a major key, man. So everybody out there listening, again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely.
Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. And I'm a prime example, but we talk about that later. But I think that is so cool, like, because I can remember being a kid in a little bit of trouble. And when I had the mentors in my life, whenever I would see them, I would do the same thing they were doing to your dad.
Yep.
I would be quick to tell them what I'm doing now, just to receive that praise, let them know, like, hey, what you said mattered, Yep. I think what was cool with me, that I thought about it later, hindsight is 2020. I had the privilege when I was in 5th grade going to Kevin Wiley on the South Side. We had a teacher. She ended up leaving. And then we had another intern teacher that was fresh out of Hampton University, a sister that looked just like us, that could relate to us. And it was Miss Richmond, David Richmond's daughter.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine.
Yep.
5th grade, young black male, the realness we was getting in that class. Oh my Lord, man. Shout out to Miss Richmond. I have to make some noise for that. Salute to David Richmond, man. That was part of the original city movement here in Greensboro, North Carolina. But yeah, that means a lot, because it's like those moments from back then that you can see now, it's like it made a big difference, because I could have really went left. And I'm talking about, this is 5th grade.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I got straight a little bit, then I went back left a little bit as I got a little bit older. But I always go back to those teachers, to those people that was in my life that made a difference, that saw things in me that I didn't even see in myself at a young age.
Absolutely.
So being that juvenile court counselor, like, once you finished school, I know you went to Elizabeth City, correct?
I did, Elizabeth City State.
Shout out to Elizabeth City, baby. Yeah. And while you were there, you also played Zeta.
Yes,
Phi Beta.
That's right.
Zeta. Shout
you.
out to the Zetas.
Yes.
There it is. Now, when you were there at Elizabeth City, was it the same career path that you had chosen, that you were like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do? So when I get out of school, I'm going back home, and I'm gonna plant my flag and make a difference.
So actually, no, and I'm gonna back up just a little bit.
Okay.
I talk about my parents both being in law enforcement and all of that, but my story really didn't start there. So my mom and I moved to Greensboro when I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
But we moved, it was one of those things where I was getting in trouble in my hometown.
Where's the hometown?
Sanford, North Carolina.
Sanford,
okay. We got a theme song and everything.
Ooh, I know about Sanford, boy.
Okay.
Yes.
So I used to get into a bit of trouble. And there was an incident where it's like, okay, you have to get yourself together. So we moved to Greensboro. I didn't know anybody. I started 9th grade, Southern Guilford High School, and I didn't know a single person.
Wow.
But I was a fighter.
They didn't know.
They did not know. Before I got there, I was a fighter. And the first day of school, the principal brought me into the office, Mr. Misher, okay, and said, I'm looking at your academic record and I'm looking at your disciplinary record. You got one time to get in trouble here, and we're gonna put you out.
One time on your first day of school?
First day of school.
Jeez, Lord have mercy.
The record is long. Okay, it was. I understood.
Okay.
I understood where it was coming from, because it was It was some trouble that was being had. And so, I made a choice before I got there.
Right.
I knew that I wanted to go to college. And I knew that in college, they're going to check your disciplinary record along with your academics. Never had a problem with academics, but if somebody said something,
it's on.
I didn't have a problem.
I know that's right.
But I made it through all 4 years of high school, ended up graduating student body president.
Oh, okay.
And, it was one of those things where that first year, I had to really work on myself and swallow a lot.
You left all your friends behind and you come to this new environment, new city.
People don't know me.
Yeah.
I was fly. Okay. I'm just
There's nothing wrong with that. Coming from love.
So there was plenty of opportunity for me to show you exactly who I was. But I was choosing to be someone different. And so when I got to college, I knew I wanted to do something to help somebody that's like me. Like, a kid that's like me that maybe was going down a path that wasn't right and needed an opportunity to do something different. And so I was a criminal justice major. Knew there was a lot of opportunity. Everybody like, go to law school. I never wanted to go to law school. Nothing wrong with that. I just didn't want to go. And so, I had the opportunity to volunteer at a teen court. And that was eye-opening for me because I got to see, okay, well, they didn't offer me teen court back in the day. They were trying to offer me something else.
Okay.
My mom said, I'll just take her and move out of this.
Right.
But, being able to see those alternatives, I was like, I want to be in a situation where I'm able to help people to get to those alternatives so they don't have to go down the path of like incarceration and all of that. So I didn't know what that looked like, but I said, I want to be in a position where I'm able to create policies that help the community. Like that was always my thing. And so from there, I just went where the job carried me and ended up here. So.
Right. Well, we appreciate you for landing here because without you, I wouldn't even know what would be going on right now. Because I look at it like, the universe, well, I'm going to say God, he puts everybody in each other's lives for a reason.
Absolutely.
It's on us to figure it out to see exactly how we mesh together. And like now, if I could talk to Young Trill like from 96, 97 and tell him what I would be doing now, he might be like, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really? Well, what happened? What made you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Was it something traumatic, anything? So when you first got in the juvenile justice system, like, what was that experience like? Because, you fresh out of college and it's like, it's not that big of an age difference, really.
Yeah. So for me, it was the most eye-opening experience of my life. No matter what degrees I have, none of that. The best education that I got was from working at the Guilford County Juvenile Detention Center.
Life experience.
And the kids there, I love those kids. I mean, they were kids, and some of them, they have done some horrendous things, but they were kids.
Right.
And I got the opportunity to look beyond their charges and see like them as individuals, see them as kids, and hear their stories.
Yeah.
And I think hearing their stories, hearing where there were opportunities for them to be placed on a different path, and nobody saw it and said, hey, young man, hey, young lady, instead of going right here, we're going to take you, we're going to go this way.
Right.
And I think that was, for me, like a light bulb of where I said, if I'm ever in a situation where I can point somebody in another direction, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them to get in that other direction.
Amen. Yeah. That's that good energy right there. I would hear stories about the detention center. You keep up, you go into detention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, shoot, all my friends there. So
Yeah.
I don't, you know, like, it's to the
that's
point that it was like, that was my mentality as well. I know my friends that went there, they would tell me, nah, you know, they would try to make it seem like it was cool when they come home. But at the end of the day,
no.
their mama be telling me, he was crying, calling
Absolutely.
me every day, and when I would come home. And
there were so many nights where I would have kids in their room, because you know you have to walk by and check on them. They be in there crying. I mean, the biggest, baddest ones during the day be the biggest crybabies at night. You know, so it was a lot of that.
That's real stuff, man. So kids, I tell everybody, look, man, it's never too late. You know, we make mistakes now, but again, like she said before, those mistakes don't, you know, determine who we are in the future. So again, if y'all need some type of help, some type of guidance, we got great programs over here. You know, we have Uniform One, which is a great resource where you guys can, you know, go and get help with juvenile justice programs, as well as, you know, going on college tours. You know, we have Gate City Coalition that does phenomenal work. And we have AWOL Outreach. Shout out to my brother Lynch Hunt, who's also out there making the input and going to talk to the kids and taking them on prison visits to let them exactly see and witness how it is behind bars. So I hope this reaches the ones that it needs to reach, so y'all can understand, like, look, you might have messed up now, but it doesn't determine your future, your outlook. Because, you know, we got resources and everything for you. Just like over here at GSO Peace Corps Richmond Center, where we teach the nuances of studio engineering as well as media podcast training. But back to the lady of the hour, another shameless plug, by the way. But nothing at all. I'm from here, born and raised, and I've seen a lot in my time. I can only imagine the stuff that you had to witness. Now, tell me, in this profession, being a young black female, what hurdles and what boundaries did you have to overcome to get the respect that you needed to be able to operate how you're being effective? Because, you know, you're doing numbers. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, thank you for calling me young, because
I'm older than you, so I can.
You know, I appreciate it.
That's the truth.
You know, it's been a lot of people underestimate you. You know, and the thing about me, I'm not the person that wants to be in the front all the time. I've never been that person. I've always wanted to be the person in the background orchestrating the things, as opposed to being the person out in front. Because I felt that the true power is in being able to move the pieces and the people in a way to get the results that you need.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I've been very intentional with communicating with people, not closing myself off, because sometimes what happens is people see you, they see a young black woman, and they think they can assume certain things about me.
Right.
You know, certain experiences and who I know, what I know, where I'm affiliated, all of these things. But I like to be full of surprises, and I like to have many different people that I will sit with. There are times where, you know, most of the time when you see me, I'm, you know, in my professional attire, and I'm, you know, because I'm working. But there are often times where I go into spaces, say incognito, you know, I'm hat to the back, baggy clothes, like you wouldn't even recognize me, because I'm, you know, I'm there. I'm not there as, hey, it's Latisha McNeil, director of community safety. No, it's just Latisha. I'm here. I'm, you know, seeing the scene and checking everything out, and just here for a good time. And so being able to communicate with a variety of people, being okay with being underestimated, but also having my stuff together. Because, you know, people gonna oftentimes underestimate you. People gonna assume certain things about you, but when you know what you know it. And you can stand on it. You don't have to be loud. Like, I ain't got to scream, cuss you out, do none of that stuff. I'm gonna just give you what the facts are, and I'm gonna leave it there. So that's just how I've operated in spaces where people have tried to underestimate me.
Wow, that's key. I read the 48 Laws of Power, and one of the laws of power is never outshine the master.
Absolutely.
You know, for those that don't know, it means like you don't never reveal your true hand. So when you do move, like Biggie say, you move in silence.
Yep.
You know, so again, that's a true testament of who you are and exactly, you know, not only as a person, but just in the position that you in. It's like I'm very analytical. I'm always on the outside looking in, and I always put myself in other people's shoes. I'm like, oh my lord, like, I can't even. It defies description sometimes that I see certain things going on in my city, how people are acting because it's like we all in this together.
Yep.
And one thing that I noticed from your standpoint, why is it such a huge void of a male presence like in this field doing the type of work that you do?
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that people don't want to be that somebody wants to take the lead all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can't take the lead.
Right.
And you got to be okay with not being in charge, not taking the lead, because you need to be focused on the work. Because if you're a leader, when it's your time to lead, it's gonna come and you're gonna lead.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to say, hey, pick me, pick me. No, just be consistent.
Right.
You know, do the things that you're supposed to do, and the things that are supposed to come to you will come.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't want that. They be like, I want it right now.
Mm.
And it's like,
Instant
you can't do
gratification.
that. Yeah, you can't do that.
That microwavable. Shout out to my son. Well, not my son, but I have a partner, Mcniel. Shout out to Mcniel had me, and he came up with a phrase, and he's so clever with words. Microwavable situations.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you just want it, boom.
Absolutely.
That's it. That fast.
Yep. But think about it. Food don't taste as good in the microwave.
Yeah, I hate the microwave. No.
Yep.
And then you don't get that gratification from knowing that, you know, you put this together. You've seen this thing come from the ground up.
Yeah.
And it has your imprint, your blueprint on it.
Yeah.
And it's just more gratifying. So kids, think about that, man. You know, that overnight success, anything that happens overnight don't last.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time. Rome wasn't built overnight. You know, the ones that stick around, the ones that's true to it, is not new to it. You put in your grind, you get in grind mode, and pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
And what they say, what determines a true leader is not how many times you fail, but how many times you pick yourself back up. So that's just a little food for thought, people. You know, but here in Greensboro, I noticed, you know, especially working alongside you guys, and I spoke on it earlier. This isn't for everybody.
No.
What they say, few are called, but I know many are called, but only few are chosen.
Yes.
So let the people know a little bit when it comes to these violence interrupters and these outreach workers. Like, what would you say would be the biggest area of opportunity for us to utilize so we can all form that great coalition and, you know, show solidarity?
Yeah. So I think for me, you know, seeing this work not only in Greensboro, but being able to travel to different cities across the country to see, you know, how people do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Greensboro is unique. You know, it's not Chicago, it's not New York, it's not Baltimore, it's Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of our city. But the way that crime happens in our city, it's not the same as some of these other cities across the country. So the thing that I look for is I want somebody who is credible everywhere, who can go into on any block and get that respect, not by show of force, but just by who they are as a person,
right.
By that integrity, you know, by them. They may have a past, but their past isn't defining them. They're not walking around talking about the glory stories of whenever they were out, you know, trapping and doing whatever. No, I don't want that. Like, I want you to, how can I have someone in a situation where they're doing those things and then the person to come to them to try to get them out, only talking about when they were involved in it? That's not going to make someone want to change their life or their path. All that's doing is validating and verifying hey, I'm in the right place.
Right.
You know, I want somebody that can say, I may have done that, but that's not who I am now. That's not where I am now. And being comfortable enough with themselves as, a man or woman to be able to stand on who they are.
Right.
And so that's what we need. And the irony in it is I can remember 3 years ago having conversations. I had a conversation with a counterpart from Chicago 3 years ago. And I mean, it was a very heated discussion that we were having as he was trying to tell me that, the way that they were doing things in Chicago is the way that we need to be doing things in Greensboro, North Carolina. And, it's very like neighborhood specific. And, he's like, everybody got that neighborhood. And, he's saying these things. I'm like, I hear you. But just because everybody got that neighborhood don't mean that everything stays in that neighborhood. Right. We're not landlocked here. People can get in their car. We're very transient. We'll get in our car and we can go to whatever side it's at. Like, we don't care, Yeah. So like we don't have that same type of experience.
Yeah, that's a big time.
And point. So we going back and forth. And last week we were having a conversation when the plan was released, and we called. And he was like, yeah, man, we're looking for people that can go all over the city. I was like, hold on, let me stop you.
Sounds familiar.
Run that back, because I heard what you just said, and we not going to skip over it, because 3 years ago, when I said, I want somebody that's good everywhere in Greensboro, you were looking at me like I was crazy and saying that wasn't going to work. But that's exactly what we are doing here. I don't care what block it is. I want somebody that is good all over Greensboro, because I want Greensboro to be good everywhere.
Right, and that's a great answer. I didn't even think about that. Those major cities, us not being landlocked, because if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like the violence here happens in spurts. We might go months to where it's nothing going on, but then all of a sudden it might be a seasonal thing.
Yep.
And then boom, numbers go up. But that's a great segue into what you were discussing with the comprehensive community safety plan.
Yes.
Now, this is great. I love it. And for those of us out there, it will be up, so you guys will be able to see it yourself and take a look at what's going on here in the city of Greensboro with the comprehensive safety plan. Now, if you could elaborate and speak on this a little bit and what it all details. What's going on down in Greensboro downtown?
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is a labor of love.
Okay.
This is one of those things that it took us about 2 years to create this document.
See, again, not made overnight.
No, absolutely
hard work and
not.
dedication.
Hard work and consistency. We were very consistent and intentional, even when there were times where the emphasis or the focus was shifted to something else. We knew the importance of continuing on with creating this document with the community. There was conversations with all types of stakeholders in our community. Sometimes just conversation. I'm just talking to you and you don't know it, but I'm gathering information, listening to what you're saying, and in my mind I'm answering the question of, how do you feel safe in your city? So that was the thing that started us on the journey. We wanted to be able to talk about safety from a multitude of perspectives. And so, we stayed the course, gathered feedback from people, sometimes formal. Like we had some like ecosystem meetings where we brought in various people in community, talked about, different things to feel safe. And that's all fine and well. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't have nothing against community meetings, because we do them.
Right.
But I also know that there are voices that will never show up at a community meeting. And that's who I want to talk to.
How do we get them there? What do we do?
I don't want them to. My thing is this: if you're not comfortable showing up there, then I don't want you to feel like you have to. And I don't feel like you should feel like you have to have your voice heard. the way the community works is it's all a community. So if I gotta come on the block to talk to you, I'm gonna come on the block to talk to you.
Right.
That's why when I said I want somebody that's good everywhere, that's what I mean.
Everywhere.
Yeah, because there's some, and to that, point, there's some people that feel like I don't need to come to this community meeting because this doesn't have anything to do with me.
This doesn't concern
It's
me.
not. This doesn't happen in my neighborhood. I don't have these problems. So it's like, oh no, oh no, sir or madam. Just like you think that this doesn't affect you because of your access, there are some people that feel like this doesn't. I'm not speaking to them because their lack of access. So we wanted to pull all of that information in and make sure that we included all of those voices into this document.
And I see you have some loud voices, so to speak, in this document. I mean, I see we got statements in here from the mayor herself, Miss Nancy Vaughn, the city manager with Trey. Like, man, this is some very robust information. Now, if I would say, for instance, moving from, say, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I'm coming to Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right, Tupelo.
Tupelo.
I'm with it.
Yeah. And I'm coming to Greensboro, North Carolina. And I want to get involved. You know, I'm new to the community, so I just don't want to move here and just, not play a part of something.
Yeah.
What could people do that's here as well? I was using myself as coming from out of town.
Yeah.
How do we go about getting involved in obtaining this information so we can, start to make a difference and join the fight, so to speak.
Join this movement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, the thing about this document, while it took 2 years for us to put it on paper and get it out, this is a living document.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to grow and change as the needs of our community do.
Right.
And having opportunities where people can bring the thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are a philanthropic partner, I mean, you got some money. Look at the kid. You got some money.
You got some money.
And you want to be able to provide some of that money to community partners that are doing this great work.
Yes.
Bring that money, because that is a contribution, because we need that. If you are university, you're a student, and you have an interest in, I don't know, communications or data collection, whatever, bring that. The things that you naturally have, you can bring it to this movement. You don't have to be, in order to be a part of this, you don't have to be somebody that's, oh, I'm focused on violence prevention.
Right.
No, you can be yourself, faith-based community. You bring that, because there, in all of these entities, there's a space for everybody to go, because everybody don't go to the same place. Some people get their news from the barbershop. Some people get their news from TV.
Barbershop talk.
So it's like, all of those things are important, and it's important to bring all of those to the table.
And I think that's important for people to understand. How do you expect to make a difference if you're scared to be different?
Yep.
It's easy to sit back there and talk about what should be done and how it should be done, but unless you're really getting out here, being outside, locking arms and marching with the ones who are really out here trying to make a difference, you can keep that opinion to yourself. I'm gonna just go ahead and be frank and say it like that, because what was it that I'm gonna steal a phrase from Family Guy? What really grinds my gears?
Yeah. Mine too.
It grinds my gears is when we have all these, what I want to say, I don't want to call them naysayers, but all of these smart guys who's on the outside looking in like, well, I'll be doing this or I'll be doing that, but we've been outside and you don't see them nowhere.
Yep.
We everywhere. They never there.
Never.
So, but that's inevitable. That's not going to change. But, when they talk about our city, I see stuff. When I start seeing my city on YouTube, they talking about violence and crimes and stuff, and I'm like, Greensboro, one of the worst places to live in North Carolina. Like, it makes me feel some kind of way.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just not true. Greensboro is a beautiful city.
Yes, it
It
is.
is, I mean, it is wonderfully diverse. There's so many things to do, so many opportunities. I mean, just think we got we got six colleges in this city.
Yeah.
And that's just college.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the different activities, the culture here, I I love this city. I
Yeah.
think this city is um, an excellent place to live. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we right in the middle of, if I want to go east west, it take what 4 hours to get each way.
Right. Right.
So that's a day trip.
Right.
So there, I mean, to me, you know, people use data that's either old
Mm-hmm.
or inaccurate to paint these pictures that are negative. And because it's easier for me to put somebody in a position of fear than to put them in a position of power. Because if we start talking about the good stuff that's going on here, we're empowering the
Right.
change in our community. And it's like, oh no, that's, we're not going to have that. We got all this stuff going on out here. You need to get involved, to get connected, get a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's lots of hobbies and activities here. Get one of those and do that. So,
So, and that's perfect that you said that, because I'm all about giving flowers, and that's why you're here today. You certainly deserve it. Because I came on around about the middle part of 2023, and that was a very difficult year for the city, where we reached a homicide rate of 74 homicides. Now, that's totally, that's crazy. Like, and rest in peace to all the ones that we lost in that year. Now, due to not only yourself but your partners, your constituents, and many other organizations, 2024 that went from 74% down to 44%.
yeah.
How can we contribute those numbers? What was the turnaround? What was the difference maker?
Yeah, I think, there's many factors that can contribute to that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we got our law enforcement partners doing their job. They're doing their reactionary
Cracking
work.
down.
So they're going to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing that. But then we also had this strong network of community-based organizations that were getting aligned and intentional about violence in our city. Like, that's why we called it Peace on Purpose for a reason.
Right.
Because
Peace
we
on purpose.
wanted to be intentional about it, intentional about how we moved together. And, people really got locked in
Mm-hmm.
and started talking to one another, started saying, well, how can I help? Instead of, well, why you don't want to get to do it? It was a lot of that. And as this movement grows, I anticipate more of that, more people coming to the table, more resources, more people saying, let me have in, let me bring my stuff so that we can make this better. So I feel like a big part of it was us communicating together and working as a true ecosystem. And it's only gonna get better, because only thing we're gonna do is just build this up even better than it already is.
Because that's a big time decline. So again, shout out to the Department of Community Safety, as well as Chief Thompson, as well as Chief Harris. MJ, what's up, boy? Man, just seeing things, being able to see how law enforcement works. Because I know people get a bad stigma where they say cops are this, but until you actually work alongside them and see exactly the ones that's dedicated to making a change in this community, it's a beautiful thing. And like you said, I think that contributed to that drastic decrease.
Absolutely.
Because that's the lowest numbers we've seen since 2021.
Yeah.
So again, like, I give you kudos, because that's not an easy task for people to get out here and go to these shooting responses and do these canvases and let the community know we're here for you. We have resources for you. You've been through traumatic experiences. This is what we can assist you with. You lost a loved one. You might have, kids losing parents. Like, instead of just throwing them in foster care, we have these resources for you. But that 2023 was a crazy year, because we ended it with homicides. And that's how you don't want to go into the new year.
Not at all.
You know, so then, starting 2024 off, we finished it, what was it, the gun, all Glocks down, we ended it with a bang.
Yeah, we wanted
without
to,
a bang,
yeah,
so to
we
speak.
wanted to make sure that we were putting the message out, put the guns down,
Right.
and I think that working collectively with that message is a key. But then also, if I if I tell you to put the gun down and I can't give you nothing else,
Mm.
that's a hard spot. And I'll be real with you, like if I can't give you another pathway
Mm-hmm.
or provide you with access to another pathway, it's real hard for me to tell you stop doing what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I think for me, going back to my background working in juvenile justice and probation and like seeing young people who were, the circumstances were just so much. There were so many things that happened. And it's like, man, if only somebody could have intervened and gave them an opportunity. Because other communities do it. I'll put it like this: former President Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Clinton became Bill Clinton because his community made him Bill Clinton.
Mm.
They saw something in him as a young kid, and they nurtured that. They grew that. Hey, we want to make sure that you have that opportunity, access to get that education to grow you, into who you are, that Rhodes Scholar.
And this was back when he's from Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Arkansas Bill. Okay.
And it's like, Little Rock.
Yeah.
Okay, they banging in they've been banging.
Man, I remember that documentary.
Yeah, even when Bill Clinton was a baby,
Yeah.
they were banging in Little Rock.
Mm.
But they saw something in him, and they took him and elevated him, nurtured him, kept him protected and secure, put him on a pathway, and that man became the president of the United States.
Yep.
So to me, it's like, as community, when we nurture our babies, and when we see something in them, we need to make sure that we are protecting and growing it. Because just like you got Bill Clinton, former president, is other people that were right alongside him that took a different path, that may have been just as talented, just as smart, but didn't have opportunity and access to what they needed.
Right. Yeah, that's a key point. I didn't think about old Bill Clinton, man. Yeah, Arkansas, Little Rock. Yeah, but and then I just look at the statistics as a whole, as an overall, where even from like domestic violence and stuff like that, to grasp everything as a whole, which I know you have to have major mittens to do such a thing, but to grasp everything as a whole, what would you think the city would need to do to implement to where we can see a consistent change, where we're seeing things, decreasing from to gun violence, aggravated assault with handguns, and domestic violence and everything? Do you have a outlook on that?
I think that, key things that we need to do is conflict resolution.
Mm.
That's such an important piece to this puzzle.
How to de-escalate.
Absolutely. Because if I don't know how to talk to you when things escalate to a point and I have access to a weapon, it's like another tool in my tool belt.
Mm. Yeah.
So just like you got that gun in your tool belt, we need to teach people how to have de-escalation in their tool belt. Because somebody need to be able to talk that situation down. People need to be comfortable with walking away. People need to be comfortable with understanding how to talk to each other. And that's something that we don't teach it in school, and we definitely ain't teaching it in community. We don't teach it in church. There ain't nowhere where people learn how to de-escalate a situation.
Right.
But when we look at the violence across our city and across like the type of violence, that's the thing. We arguing, we mad at each other, and we done escalated to this point, and now all I'm doing is I'm going to the weapon because
That's it,
we ain't
yeah.
gonna talk no more. And it's like, no, we never actually talked. We never talked to the point where we tried to de-escalate it. We just kept talking at each other to the point where that other tool came out.
Mm, yeah,
Mm.
that's it. De-escalation. You're right. They, I feel like so. I'm kind of weird, man. Like I always like to know, like how did people become the way that they are?
Mm-hmm.
Like what got you to this point to where you feel like this is it? I'm about to crash out. I'm about to just throw my life away, end your life, forget everybody else that matter. Like what gets them to that point? To where it's just that fast. So one thing I thought about that I wanted to do is I always found it interesting to like I used to look at those documentaries on HBO. Remember the Iceman?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it was just getting inside the mind of those people to be like, is it mental health? Is it drug abuse? Is it a combination of both?
Yeah.
Just from your time being here, what could you? Is it a combination of both that contributes to it? Because I don't think nobody's just evil.
No. No, I think one of the things, especially when we think about violence and when someone escalates to the point of like gun violence,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you could do a drug test in that moment, if I could do a drug test or a test for substance, most of the people would be impaired.
Mm.
I think that we start there, where there's um, people are already, I'm impaired, so my senses, my rationality, all of these things are already impaired.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people around me, theirs are too. And so the response to the situation, something happens, it becomes a stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
The response to that stimuli is like, all right, oh, okay, oh, they did it. They did, let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
So now we done hyped each other up, or I done hyped you up.
Hype me up.
Yeah, okay. And you look, we got the music that makes us feel good.
Yeah.
And, it puts us on go. Now I'm high, I'm drunk, I'm whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my common sense is gone down.
It's gone. It's no longer present.
Yeah, and then I make a decision, and I gotta live with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a lot of elements, and I forgot, like even with that's one thing I noticed, like so, even with radio, like I'm like, man, we go to certain clubs. I remember we go to the club, it's to dance and have fun.
Yeah.
You leaving there sweaty.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like when I go, maybe the celebrities in town have to go cover, do provide media. Nobody's dancing.
Yeah.
Everybody's just standing there, like rapping these gangster lyrics and acting like they're acting out the lyrics while they're in the club. I mean, males and females.
I'm a huge music fan. But I listen to many types of music.
Right. Cause
And so, like, I can remember, I'm about to tell my age a little bit, right? So, I remember, so I'm outside of the club, and it's
Bone
like,
crusher.
and you're just hyped, right?
Yeah.
And, you're getting hyped, you're building all
Yeah.
of that energy. And it makes you feel good. Those are endorphins. It's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with feeling good from the music.
Mm.
But, what happens is, if I've already got them other things,
Yeah.
and I got a conflict. We ain't talked about how to resolve it. When I wasn't impaired, I don't have that tool on me. All I'm hearing is instruction.
Yeah.
And so now I'm on go because I'm hearing instruction. I'm impaired, and ain't nobody ever told me different.
Mm.
So it's like you gotta have that balance. One of the things in early hip hop, the diversity of music. So I might have had that music that was telling me to go ahead and do that thing. But then I had that other music that was, educating me of the power of being,
Right.
like my blackness and making sure that I'm, living a life of peace. And so it's like somebody was saying something to
Yeah.
kind of
I mean,
calm the water.
but even then, like, say for instance, like, you take back then with like NWA, who made, you know, F the Police, but they also made Express Yourself.
Yep.
You know, you take groups like the Ghetto Boys, you know, they got songs, you know, Mr. Scarface, but also they got songs like, you know, that's letting you know what's going on in the Fifth Ward.
Yep. Yep.
But Public Enemy, you know, Arrested Development. So it was that balance, you know, but I think now more or less to say it's like, and I tell people all the time whenever I have to, you know, meet with certain people that, how are you involved in your child's life? Once you lose that relevancy in your child's life to where you don't even know what's going on.
Yep.
Everything is, again, a text message. Hey, I'm a cash app you this. Order yourself some food.
Uber Eats.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we
come home from school. How was your day? I'm sitting at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
As soon as I come home, I wash up, use the bathroom. I'm sitting at the kitchen table doing my homework, talking to whoever's in the house about how my day was and how it's going on.
Yeah.
It's like now what I notice is that lack of communication with the youth in regards on, you ask them now, like, how was your day? Why?
Yeah.
It's almost like they get offended. What you mean? Like, what you ask me
that
for? Yeah.
You heard something?
You weird. Like, oh, like, what do you mean? This is just a conversation, you know? So I tell parents we have to get back to those grassroots. I mean, even with like shows like The Cosby Show, A Different World, and stuff like that, we don't even have that portrayal of prominent families that shows a different way of life other than like the P-Valleys. And not saying that stuff goes on, that's a way of life, but also not knowing like, look, here's an alternative.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And just think about it, you know, if all I'm seeing is that, then I'm gonna think that's
what it
reality.
is. Yeah.
And, you know, I look at it, for example, I'm not back when reality television came out. I remember I watched it when it first came out, and then I stopped because I was like, if I live in an area where I've never seen a black woman, I've never interacted with a black woman, but I look on reality TV.
That's your first perception.
And when people start interacting with you based off what they feel like you're going to act like based off of reality TV, then that shows you that there are not enough examples of the diversity of just us, period, on TV or social media. And, you know, I get it, the ratchet leads, you know, they want to be entertained, but it is just entertainment. Like the lines between entertainment and reality get blurred. And then people want to up the ante, even, you know, to go back to the music. If I'm entertaining because I'm a lyricist, I'm a storyteller, you know, and then you're a storyteller, and we going back and forth with our stories, and our stories are escalating, and then it gets to the point where nobody is telling a different story.
So it's something the same.
And I'm gonna just keep upping.
That's
and
the
then,
reality.
Yeah.
That's crucial, and that's why, you know, dealing here with the studio and the podcast, that's what we come across a lot. You know, these kids, like, even with the producers or whatever, when they're making certain type of beats, I'm like, man, that sound like one long beat, but you play like 15. Well, this is the sound now. This is the sound now.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like, you know, I mean, to each his own, but at the same time, when it goes back to, it's affecting people that look like us. You and me.
Yeah.
Other people on the outside looking in, they look at it, like you say, they see it for entertainment. But we have a hard time splitting the two and drawing the line.
Because they're able to have that balance, because I see this, I hear this, but then I also see and hear this other thing over here. It goes back to access and opportunity. Like, if I don't have access, opportunity for anything different, how am I gonna, be in a position to even go and do something else?
Access and opportunity. I love that. Yes, I'm gonna have to put that one down. But man, that's tough. But
yeah, that's one of the pillars.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. So I mean, when it comes to strengthening communities and being engaged, um, where we're at right now, which again I know homicides is down with like 13, 14% right now. You know, the year started off crazy to say the least, but you know things are settling down. Not being your toughest critic because I already know how you are. What would you say? How do you feel about yourself like right now in this moment? All the work, all the blood, sweat, and tears you done poured into this thing. Like, how do you say you honestly feel about everything right now?
You know, it goes back to my love for this city.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was, and it continues to be uh, difficult at times to be the person in this space doing this job, right? Pushing forward, seeing the goal not just for now, like not for just in this moment this thing is happening, but how do we build this into the fabric of what we do as a city?
Mm-hmm.
Like to me that was a critical thing for me. It wasn't so much about what can Latisha do to boost herself up, to make herself to where she can go and get another job somewhere else doing some, and make a name, make a national name for herself. It wasn't about that. What it's about is how does this work build my city and the legacy for my city. Because as a woman, right? I feel like women naturally are big on passing things down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether we do it outright, intentionally or subconsciously. Like, what am I passing down? How am I making this thing better? And so I feel like I'm in a position now where I have done something to make the city better. And as we continue to grow, we keep moving to make it better and better. And have it so I know the plan is 5 years, but 20 years from now, we still have this department. We still have these goals in line to have community driven responses. But it looks different.
Right.
Because the needs are different. Like I don't want it to be the same. Like if 20 years from now, me and you still sitting here talking about the same thing,
something's wrong.
Yep. That mean enough people who we missing.
Right.
We're missing somebody in that conversation. But like if in 20 years from now we talking about a problem that I don't know, don't even exist yet.
Right.
Fine. Community driven response. However whatever the issue is, we talking about how we as a community can work together to find a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me that was the key factor in this. So I mean I feel great when this plan came out. I cried. Because it was a lot of work to put this together.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the city, and because I feel like things are coming. They're coming together, and yeah, we are on the national stage. So I mean, I'm gonna brag a little bit about the city.
There you go. Yeah.
Because
this is talk that talk, so you got to talk your talk.
The way that we are doing things, I had to fight people. I had to fight the subject matter experts in this work about them trying to tell us what Greensboro should be doing. I'm like, you ain't even from here. You ain't from here. You ain't been here. You do not know. So don't sit here and try to tell me, or tell us how this should look. We gonna build this thing
right
from Greensboro up on purpose with our city. And so now it's like hearing those same, people that was like, y'all wrong to, yeah, man, we growing in this direction. We doing this thing. I'm like, oh, really now? Well, when you do it, make sure you say Greensboro, North Carolina.
Put some respect on it.
Yeah, yep.
Believe it, because back to those numbers that from 2024, got invited to the White House, didn't you?
Yeah, so Been to the White House a couple of
Oh,
times.
excuse me, but I got a room there. I'm right
Yes,
next to the Oval Office.
yeah. Yes. We went to the White House and and the Department of Justice and got to talk about this work.
Mm-hmm.
Got to talk about um, the goal of putting community safety into the fabric of public safety.
Mm-hmm.
Because too many people, when they hear public safety, the first thing they think is police. Police is a part of public safety, but they're not all of it.
Right.
And it's like it's not even, and it's not fair for us to expect police to show up as the whole of public safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a community element, there's a us element in public safety.
Right.
So like I feel like if we do our part, then when it's time for them to do their part, we know that they're doing their part because we done what we can do.
Yep. Yep. It's all about execution. Um, I've been looking over this plan, and like I said, even with starting with the pillars that you have here for the first one to the second one, which we spoke on, um, I'm excited myself.
Yeah.
Just to see the direction that everything is heading. Um, yeah, I mean, it really can't say enough about the work you've put in. And then also, too, before I forget, man, I wouldn't even be here. Let me shout out my brother, man, real quick. Arthur Durham, man.
Arthur, yes.
Brother Arthur, man.
Absolutely.
Now, listen, put some respect on his name. When I talk about somebody that's unconditionally committed,
Yes.
a man that's passionate, a man that walks the walk, talks the talk, man, that brother is the reason that, GSO Peace Corps at Richmond Center is here today.
Yeah.
So again,
Give him
man,
yeah.
you gotta give it up for Arthur Durham, man. But cause again, just being able to be a sponge, sitting around you guys and take in all of the information, like, I'm like, wow, sometimes it'd be overwhelmed. I'm like, ain't no way in the hell I'm sitting there, I have my little moments, you know what I mean? But I think about you guys and how long y'all been doing it. I'm like, hold on, man. You gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop the blood clot crying.
Yeah.
And you gotta understand, you walking with a purpose now.
Yep.
And you got people alongside of you that's unconditionally committed to making a difference in the community.
Absolutely.
But again, I appreciate you guys to the max. Can't express it enough. So I want to give you your flowers today because again, being a young sister in this world alone, but not only that, but in the path that you're walking right now, I can only imagine. We can speak on other things, but we gonna speak on what I know, what you're passionate about, and what's true to you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing on up, man. Gotta get ready for my son's graduation tomorrow, man.
Yes.
Shout out to my son Juice, man. Graduating tomorrow from James B. Dudley, man. I love you, son. I'm super proud of you, boy. But for the people that don't know, you can let them know that might be interested or they might want to be get more knowledge in regards onto this comprehensive community safety plan, or whether just the Department of Community Safety as a whole. How they can get in touch with you in any social media fashion and platforms of that nature.
Absolutely. So you can follow us on Facebook at the Office of Community Safety. You can go to the City of Greensboro website and put in community safety, read about not only the comprehensive community safety plan, but you can also look at the programs and initiatives that we have under the office. Which are, in addition to violence prevention, we have like alternative responses to calls for service, like mental health, substance use disorder, overdose response. We've got pre-arrest diversion programs. We've got homeless services as well. And then, we have the Greensboro Criminal Justice Advisory Commission, which is our police oversight board for the city. So there's a lot going on in the community safety department. Feel free to reach out. Our contact information is on the web. I guess we'll drop the link to the document. We'll be having events this summer. Show up to the events. Show up to the events for community safety department as well as our community partners. And I mean, come talk to me. I'm out here. and I don't mind a conversation. And I don't mind, you know, people connecting so they can join this movement. Bring what you can do, because we probably need it. So.
Right. And don't be scared. She ain't fighting no more, y'all. You might
No, I'm living a life of peace now. I'm living a life of peace now.
She ain't fighting no more.
Y'all,
you know.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yep.
We need to put the gloves on. Our contact Stephen Matthews. Shout out to Punch for Pounds, man. Stephen Matthews, yo. Yep. And also ESC Established Safe Coaches. My brother Gene Blackman.
Yeah, Gene.
Yes, sir. But I appreciate you, my sister. You know, we got some work to do, and I'm looking forward to, you know, traveling this journey with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and to do this. I mean, and you know, let's have peace on purpose.
Believe it, that's what it's all about. So once again, it's been your boy Big Trail, repping Hot 92.5 The Heat, the hottest station in the nation. Shout out to my brother off the curb, Tay. And again, you guys already know this is how it is over here. GSO, Peace on Purpose. GSO, Enrichment Center. You already know. It's straight like that. We out of here.